Hi there, I'm Mitchell from Brainfart Studio, and this is part 3 of my series on Git for game development. In today's video, we'll be using GitHub to create your first remote repository and connect it to your local game development project. To start, let's head over to github.com. Log in if you aren't already. To create a new repository, navigate to your GitHub account and click on the plus icon in the top right corner. Then select New Repository. Give your repository a name, an optional description, and choose whether it should be public or private. Personally, I have nearly all my repositories public, so anyone can learn from my code or give feedback on my code. But if you want or need to be more secretive, go with private. You can choose to add a README file, an ignore, or a license to your repository, but those are outside the scope of this video, so I'm going to leave them blank for now. Once you click Create Repository, you should see a screen like this. We're going to need this URL to tell our project where to go later, so click this icon on the right and copy the URL. If you choose to add a README file or a .gitignore, you may see a page like this. Instead, click this green code button first. You'll see the same URL and icon. Click it and it will copy. Now we've got our remote repository created, but we need to tell our project where it needs to go. Imagine this empty Unity project is your game. We want to connect this to the remote repository that we just created on GitHub. To do this, open up a terminal window, command prompt, or if you have it, git bash. Type cd, which stands for change directory, and type in the full path that leads to your project. And note, you will need to be at the root of the project. This is very important for making sure every piece is backed up. Here, I'm using Unity, and if I type dir, short for directory, it shows me all the files in my current location. So you can see the assets directory, library directory, and so on, indicating that I'm at the root of my project. To start tracking the changes to this project with Git, we need to do what's called initializing the repository. This is just a fancy way of saying start it up. To initialize Git, type git space init for initialization and hit enter. And you can see that we have now initialized a Git repository. We need to connect this to our remote repository we created earlier. So type git remote add and then 2 parameters, a name and a URL of where that remote repository is located. The name does not have to match what's online. The standard convention is to use origin, though you can call it whatever you want. Then paste the URL from GitHub that we got earlier. Once you hit enter, you probably won't see anything that looks like it's changed. Personally, I think some sort of message that indicates a new remote connection has been created would be really helpful. But regardless, the remote connection has been made. You'll get an error otherwise. And there you have it. You've now learned how to create your own repository for your game project and connect it to a remote repository. In the next video, we'll take a slight detour and I'll show you how you can take someone else's game project and make a copy of it on your own computer. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.